has been blown. I repeat, my cover has been blown.
But Pinky was just in flutters and if the shit got skipped, I don't know. Hello everyone, I'm Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to my Little Pony vlogs for Season 3. Today I'm talking about The Crystal Empire Part 1, written by Megan McCarthy. Season 3 premiere, guys. What can be said about this one? Well, I'm going to be honest here. This one is actually pretty good in many cases, at least the first part of Season 3. Because a lot of people have said it, the two-parter, you know, The Crystal Empire. First episode's good, but the second episode just seems to fall apart in many cases. But today we're talking about the first part, so let's get into it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. The episode starts with Celestia basically doing her royal duties. The first time we actually get to see this! Thank you, DHX! Then all of a sudden, a guard comes in basically saying that there's news from Northern Equestria, and apparently it has returned. This causes a reaction from Celestia as she tells the guards to find Princess Cadance in shining armor and sends a letter to Twilight. So basically we find out when we go back to Twilight's library that Twilight is going completely nuts to the point that apparently Celestia wants to give Twilight a test and, well, Spike says this line.
Twilight, calm down. It's just a test. Just a test? Just a test!
Spike, you realize that Twilight is going to wreck you, right, for saying that? Moving on. So basically we move on. to Celestia and Luna talking with each other about this new kingdom that was just brought back for some reason. Celestia basically talks to Twilight, basically talking about that this is known as the Crystal Empire. Apparently, the Crystal Empire, no one knows about it because it disappeared about 1,000 years ago. What happened is that King Sombra, basically a unicorn who had, you know, like a heart black as night, basically took control of the Crystal Empire and enslaved all of the ponies there. That's actually kind of interesting in many cases that he was able to do that. Celestia and Luna were able to defeat Sombra and basically banished him to the frozen north. However, he was able to put a curse upon the Crystal Empire and it disappeared. Basically, Celestia says this line to Twilight, which actually is pretty interesting.
If the Empire is filled with hope and love, those things are reflected across all of Equestria. If hatred and fear take hold...
Whoa. Basically giving you an idea of how dangerous this is if the Crystal Empire was taken over by an evil being. If the Crystal Empire is taken over by someone good, you know, it reflects. Someone evil, that happens. So Celestia wants Twilight to try to help protect the Crystal Empire. Find a way to protect it from Sombra. So this is a massive mission. Compared to the other premieres, I mean, think about it. Season 1 premiere was about Twilight learning about friendship and stopping Nightmare Moon. In the second one, it was about defeating Discord and learning more about friendship. Here, it's about protecting an entire kingdom from an old enemy from 1,000 years ago. Gotta have the stakes been set high. So basically, also, one thing I have to bring out is that Luna seems to be a bit leery of Twilight towards this situation. A lot of people speculated that Luna probably doesn't know if Twilight is ready for this. Maybe she felt Twilight was not the right choice for this matter, or felt Twilight was not ready for this aspect. This does get explained a little later, though, in the later season, but you get what I mean. I do like that scene where Luna is kind of giving her glares and stuff like that, and kind of like, you know, raised eyebrows at Twilight. So basically, we go to the Crystal Empire with the rest of the main 6, and we meet up with Shining Armor. Apparently, Sombra has been trying to get inside the Crystal Empire, but Cadance has been keeping a shield up to spread hope and love throughout the kingdom, so it prevents Sombra from getting in. They get chased to the Crystal Empire where they do make it through the shield. However, Shining Armor did get attacked by Sombra, and now his magic is being countered by Sombra's dark magic, is at least what I'm willing to bet. So we get to see the Crystal Empire, and holy crap, does this place look beautiful. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Crystal Empire is, I don't know, I don't remember, but it's supposed to be based off of a certain architecture. I'm pretty sure I could put a link down below or something like that with the right idea of what architect is supposed to be about. Or one of you, I can message it right down. So basically, we get to see Cadance, and then...
Sunshine, sunshine, ladybugs awake. Clap your hooves and do a little shake.
Note to self, never hit yourself in the head with a loaded gun, because then something like this happens to you. So anyways, guys, after Twilight and Cadance meet up with each other, they're basically trying to figure out ways to protect the Crystal Empire. Twilight and the group basically decides to try and gather some information from the citizens. One of the citizens seems like, you know, they don't remember, but they don't want to remember, as shown, it almost looks like Sombra's, you know, like Sombra enslaving them still has some kind of lingering effect behind them in many cases. It's kind of an interesting thing. So basically they keep looking around to gather some information, and then we get Twilight basically going, you know, basically Applejack telling Twilight that they found a library. So basically they go to the library where the librarian pretty much doesn't know how to help them either, and they decide to help themselves. So they begin looking through the books, and then they find this one book, which is basically supposed to be about the Crystal Empire's history. Apparently, in the Crystal Empire history, they do a Crystal Fair, which is supposed to help revive, you know, the feeling of love and unity within the Crystal Empire. So Twilight and her friends begin to basically, you know, get the Crystal, like, you know, set up the Crystal Fair. Now, one thing I forgot to do, and I'm sorry for that, is I forgot to talk about the first song in the episode, because we are going on to the second song in the episode. The first song in the episode, the Failure Song, and I'll also talk about the Ballad of the Crystal Empire. Now remember guys, songs do not factor into my overall enjoyment of the episode. The Failure Song, I do like the tone that they set, being the fact that Twilight is unsure if she can actually do this. Like, is she really ready to do such a task? I like that. It really does show her conflict. And the Ballad of the Crystal Empire, it actually does have a good beat behind it. It really does have a good beat behind it, the Ballad of the Crystal Empire, and I do like how it's, you know, they're progressing the plot with the Ballad of the Crystal Empire by basically setting up the fair. So basically the fair gets set up, and the ponies seem to be reacting to it, actually, you know, like becoming better. Like, you know, going back to their original forms. Not their original forms, but more or less closer to their original forms. So they begin, like, you know, giving the ponies around the Crystal Empire a good time, and then all of a sudden the library says, like, after Rainbow Dash says, like, we have the Crystal Art, you can't have the Crystal Fair without the Crystal Heart, and then the librarian says this.
The whole purpose of the Crystal Fair is to lift the spirits of the Crystal Ponies so the light within them can power the Crystal Heart so that the Empire can be protected.
Uh-oh!
What did you... I think we may have a problem.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash, we do have a problem. So apparently, the Crystal Heart is an actual relic. It's an actual relic that's been in the Crystal Empire for a long time. And when Twilight tries to figure out why she didn't know about it, there's a page missing. Then all of a sudden, Cadance's shield spell dies, and pretty much Sombra looks like he's about to take control of the Crystal Empire, and the episode actually ends there on a cliffhanger. Not a bad cliffhanger. I'll say that. Definitely not a bad cliffhanger if you ask my honest opinion. Honestly, part 1 of the Crystal Empire definitely had a good setup and a good story structure going all the way through. The characters were in character, well, maybe except Twilight, because she was kind of acting a little oblivious in some cases. The story idea was actually pretty cool, about this old kingdom being, you know, coming back after being in a curse and a new enemy coming in. And the one thing I like about Sombra is that he's a looming threat, not a physical threat. It's almost like Majora's Mask. Let me ask you this. When you're on a time limit, instead, like, here's the thing. What's more threatening? A looming enemy or a physical enemy? With a looming enemy, you'll never know what they're going to do and when they do it. With a physical enemy, you know what they're capable of doing it and when they're going to do it. In some cases. I kind of like looming threats more than I do physical threats, mainly due to the idea behind it. And Sombra being more of a looming threat more than a physical threat is actually a pretty interesting idea. Though Part 2 completely ruins this idea, but I'll get into that when I get into it. The songs in the episode, yeah, they're really good, and there's not much else for me to say about this. There's not a lot to talk about in this episode, because it's really all just setup. This entire episode, the first part is all setup. But then again, that's the thing about a two-parter. Normally the first part's all setup, and then the second part's about, you know, getting everything started up. So, not much for me to say about this episode. I like it, and I'm going to be getting into part 2 in just a bit. So, till next time, guys, I'm Keenan47, aka Wolfkeen. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, guys, take care. Why do it just what's good at the get to the I don't know. I broke my chair! I broke my chair! Oh, I broke my chair! I did it, guys! I broke my chair! I need a new one! God damn it, chair!